Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. Today's breathwork technique that we are going to discuss is called box breathing. You may have heard of this before, but it's called box breathing because you are going to take your breath and you're going to breathe in for a certain interval, then hold your breath at the top for that same interval, and then breathe out for that same amount of time, and then hold at the bottom. So I like to use this when I am very stressed out. It is helpful to me for when I'm going into a conversation where either I or the other person feel very emotional about the topic. It's very emotionally charged conversation. Maybe there's a lot on the line. Maybe you're going for a promotion or an interview, or you have to have a difficult conversation. I find that doing this technique for a few minutes before the conversation or when I'm starting to feel very nervous about it is extremely helpful. It allows me to go into the conversation more calm, more level, more able to listen to what the other person is saying and really taking time to let that process before I respond. And I'm able to not just have a responsive emotional reaction to it, and it allows for a much better conversation. And sometimes we can also get ourselves really worked up in a negative thought pattern, and this really helps break that. So let's try and work with box breathing today. We are going to do a breath in for 3 seconds, then hold it for 3 seconds, then breathe out for 3, and then hold at the bottom for 3. So we're gonna just start taking a couple deep breaths, or actually normal breaths, not deep breaths, just a couple regular breaths for yourself. Okay, and then we're gonna breathe in, 2, 3, hold at the top, 2, 3, breathe out, 2, 3, hold at the bottom, 2, 3. So you're gonna breathe in, 2, 3, hold at the top, 2, 3, breathe out, 2, 3, hold at the bottom, 2, 3. So when you're doing this on your own, you're just going to think about holding, and you can count in your head on your own that way, and you can just set a timer for a couple minutes. So just take a couple breaths here again, and just let yourself get your normal breathing. Okay, and then let's just start. I will walk you through the first couple cycles, and then I'll just let you go, and I will cue you when 2 minutes is over. So at the top, so we're gonna start in 2, 3, hold at the top, 2, 3, out, 2, 3, hold at the bottom, 2, 3, in, 2, 3, hold at the top, 2, 3, out, 2, 3, hold at the bottom, 2, 3, and then go on your own here, just count in your head. Okay. Great job, everyone. You just did 10 minutes or 2 minutes of box breathing. One thing I will mention about this breathwork technique is that when I feel really stressed and I start to do this, sometimes at the very beginning, when I get to the portion where I need to hold at the top or the bottom, I can feel a tiny bit of panic. And so don't push yourself into something where you feel really uncomfortable. This should just be something that just is helping you get out of the rapid, possibly shallow breathing that you might be doing when you're really stressed. But just really pay attention to your body, and it's okay to do the hold, the intervals for 2 seconds or 3 seconds, or if you like to do 4 seconds, it's okay to break that up. Just make sure you feel comfortable with it, and you should really start to feel your stress level come back down. And I think it's a good idea to try to do this a couple minutes each day this week then, and just add this to your repertoire. If you find yourself in a really stressful situation, during peak season and the holidays or whatever, thing that comes up, you can try this technique. No one really even needs to know that you're doing it. You can just be sitting in a chair and doing it by yourself. It's not really going to draw any attention to you if you're doing this in public. So I hope that helps you, and I look forward to seeing you again next week.